What's up folks, it's Jang here from UltimateRC.com, about to do another unboxing of a Traxxas vehicle. This is the 1/16th scale Mini E-REVO VXL, also known as the MERV. This was the original 1/16th scale that Traxxas came out with, four-wheel drive, and they've based a lot of vehicles on this same platform, the same chassis since then. So let's go ahead and open this one up and see what came with it. So what do you know? It's almost like a miniature E-REVO or something like that. Looks just like it. Let me get rid of some of the other stuff on the side first and also show you the big pack that came with the package. It gives you a couple sets of decals, a bunch of extra stuff to really detail up the vehicle. Of course, the instruction manual's in here. Then you've got a little pack of tools with a few little Allen wrenches and the T-wrench. You've got a spare gear. This is the speed gearing to use to hopefully get 50 miles per hour, they say, when you're using twin battery packs. They also give you some extra body clips in there. Those are always getting lost. Speaking of twin battery packs, they don't give you two, they give you one. It's a 1200 milliamp hour nickel metal hydride pack with a regular large Traxxas connector on it. So they give you one, but you can run two in this vehicle with an additional adapter, either in parallel or in series. You run them in parallel and you'll get twice the runtime. You run them in series, you'll get almost twice the top speed. They also give you a weak little wall charger that will work with those packs. This one pumps out a whopping 0.2 amps. The controller that's included here now is the TQ-Link 2.4 gigahertz controller. So it's got the same body as the old basic 27 megahertz controllers, but this one does pump out juice at 2.4 gigahertz, so you don't have to worry about crystals. It also has extra features that you can actually go through. It takes a while to go through these menus, but there's actually a little cheat sheet. It should be in here. There it is. These only use 4 AA's, so that's a nice convenience. But here is the cheat sheet that shows you the menu structure. And it's just a little tree to show you all the things that you can adjust with these transmitters. Things that are included are expo on both channels, steering dual rate, braking percentage, and then trims and sub-trims, and also end points. And I think that's about it. So it gives you all the basic functionality that you could ask for, just not very convenient to get through it because you have to keep pushing buttons and stuff. But it is there. You know, basic old design, a little bit of bounciness, which brings us to the Mini E-REVO itself. Like I said, I mean, you just look at it and you can see they really did a nice job of scaling down the look of the full size, the big boy. Just it's way smaller and obviously significantly cheaper. Really sleek body here. These tires are the same sort of design. The rubber is medium hard. It's definitely rubbery, not plasticky. These should last a fair amount of time compared to other more aggressive treads and softer rubber compounds. And they do have foams inside of them. Let me go ahead and pop that body off and take a look at what's underneath here. So it does use, again, with the chassis, they've just scaled down everything from the full-sized E-REVO. And so it has the cantilevered suspension with the lay-down shocks front and rear, which is just a cool looking thing, and also helps to keep the shocks out of the way of harm, especially the front ones. If you're running through an open field with a lot of random terrain, it's not going to, the shocks themselves aren't going to get hit where they could risk damaging the lower eyelet or even snapping them. So keeping them inboard helps with that. It's not actually an improvement to the performance per se. It adds extra weight with the cantilevers and the mounting there, and raises the center of gravity by mounting them up high. But it is at least a cool thing, and it is proven to work. The stock suspension setup is definitely under dampened, and I'd say probably mostly under dampened. It feels a little bit soft on the spring rates too. They do have these adjustable shock bodies on them, so you can change your ride height, the stock ride height. Let me just throw a battery on top of it just to get a feel for it. Feels pretty decent. It's a little bit higher in the rear, which is good because when you're on acceleration, it's going to squat down. These vehicles tend to squat down a lot. Their center of gravity is up a little bit high. So definitely, if I was tuning this up, I would switch to stiffer shock oil all the way around. Let's take a look at some of the other features of the chassis. Just continuing on with the suspension here, it has pillow ball suspension all the way around, so you can adjust your camber, both front and rear. And there's just little clips on the outsides of these, so you would stick a Allen wrench in from the outside. These push rods, there's no adjustability there. There doesn't need to be. These are just the ones that go up to the shocks. These are plastic. The tie rods for steering are also plastic, so no adjustable toe there, unfortunately, without going to an upgrade. Same thing at the rear, no adjustability for your toe until you switch those out for some actual turnbuckles. Steering is provided by one single 2080 waterproof servo, and not the most reliable, well-known servos out there. I've had one or two go bad on me myself in previous tests of other things, and a lot of folks have had those go out, but when you get a good one, they seem to be pretty good, but a little bit of randomness on the quality control there, I'd say. Brushless system. It's got the Valenion VXL 3M. It's the micro waterproof ESC, and then it has a sensorless little brushless motor there. It's hooked up to it. And like I said before, you can hook up twin packs to this. You can run two in series. You can also hook up two lipos. It will actually handle the power of twin 2-cell lipos for a total of 4S for just ridiculous, stupid power. So it's just something to think about in the future. Stubby little antenna. I like that. It doesn't just stick out everywhere and get in the way and just put itself out there to get broken off or bent. And that's brought to you by the 2.4 gigahertz system. So I appreciate that. Waterproof receiver box right here. So again, everything waterproof. You can run this through rain. You can run it through puddles, and it's not going to short out. However, you do need to worry about rust because all these screws and a lot of the hardware and the pins and things are ferrous metal. So it's not a matter of just being able to go and run in the rain and then just bring it in and set it on the shelf, because the following day everything will be rusted up, and quite possibly some of your bearings will be rusted up too. Not a pretty sight, but at least your electronics are good. So if you want to go out and run in the rain or run through some puddles, you can. Everything will survive. You just need to do a very good, thorough cleanup afterwards. And let's see, what else? Any other features here? Let me just show you the battery boxes. It does have vented battery boxes, just like the full-size one. So you've got an opening vent towards the front, and then you got an exit vent back here that tries to let a little bit of airflow through the batteries to keep them from getting too hot. It's still very enclosed in here, so the batteries will get warmer on these vehicles than if the battery was just mounted from the top, but they just didn't have room to do that without widening out the chassis quite a bit. And here's your second battery box, and this has a little thing saying if you want to increase your runtime or your speed by running two batteries, you need to get an extra part, just the Y connector, Y adapter. So if you're running one connector, because there's more weight on this side, the motor is offset a little bit towards the right. Also I believe the speed control and the servo together weigh quite a bit more than just the receiver box. So with one battery, you want to run it on this side over here, but with two, you'd run it on both and probably put a little bit more preload on the right-hand side, because then you'd end up with a vehicle that's, again, heavier on the right-hand side. These wheels do use 12mm hexes, but they have a very small axle hole in them. It ends up being kind of buggy sized, or honestly, the size is very similar to the old Super Nitro HPI wheels. They call them 2.2s, but they're actually very, very small for a 2.2, not like a 2.2 truck tire. These are definitely closer to the buggy size and even a little bit smaller on diameter, a little bit wider, but you can swap these out for some other options. Anything else that I'm seeing here? It does have adjustable body posts to a point. There's a little bit of adjustability in there, not a whole lot. The rear one's already not in the middle hole, it's closer to the edge, and this one is, I believe, all the way down, so you can raise these up a little bit, but it's more optimized for the low profile bodies with this one. And it does have plastic drive shafts all the way around, plastic slider shafts going out to the wheels. Also has the same thing in the center drive line. And yeah, that's it for an unboxing for now. Definitely want to work on that suspension setup. But that's the original Traxxas Mini E-REVO VXL, 1/16 scale. Looks really good, pretty nice design. And coming up next will be, plenty of people have run these over the years, but I still have to put it through my full regimen of testing and durability testing. I will do also, see if I can get some speed runs out of it, and eventually give you guys a full review. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.